Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are here and we are going to do a new video that is kind of a little bit different than the normal stock video. So one of the questions that I get asked in IG all the time is, how did I transition from door-to-door salesman, as you can see here, which I still do full-time every summer. This is gonna be my 5th summer knocking, to now being a full-time day trader. It's hard because I'm wearing both hats. I do a lot of stuff. I'm trying to get a whole lot of projects done right now, but the main question I always get from a lot of you, 18 to 24-year-olds out there is, how do I get started in the stock market? How did I do it? How have I been able to be successful? And that is what today's video is about. So let's roll that intro, let's get it going, and let me tell you my story on how I went from being a door-to-door salesman to a day trader, all today on Young Money Investments. All right, so I am super passionate about both door-to-door sales and day trading, obviously the stock market in general. So a little bit of a background on me. I got started learning about long-term investments when I was 16 years old in high school. So I think I was like a sophomore in high school. I won a stock market challenge game. It was like a simulated trading thing. There was like 250, 300 students in our block, and I was one of the top ones. I was the number one person from what I remember. It's been so long ago, but I'm like 99% sure I ended up being the number one person in that. And so just like anything, when you are good at something from the beginning, you want to invest more time in it. And so this was kind of during 07, 08 when the market had a recession going on. Stocks were very discounted. They were very cheap. A lot of people were like against the stock market. They're like, don't get in the stock market. It's not good. But I statistically saw the fact that over the past 100 years or so, the stock markets had went up. So the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 have consistently went up over the past, 80, 90 years. I mean, even since the Great Depression back in the 30s, the stock market has just continually ticked up. Yes, we went through recessions. Yes, we went through depressions. But at the end of the day, the stock market is always going up. And so I ended up getting my feet wet. We had a financial advisor from Edward Jones. And he was super helpful in getting me going, learning a little bits about the stock market. The one thing I do regret is that he didn't teach me enough. I didn't really learn a lot of the different strategies. Obviously, Edward Jones, they're financial advisors. They just are really paper pushers at the end of the day. They take the stocks that the analysts put out and say are a good buy, and they push those to their clients, and hopefully their clients buy. Hopefully they buy these mutual funds. And the financial advisor gets cool trips to different parts of the country, et cetera, if they hit their quota. One of the things basically, so I went on doing that for quite some time. It wasn't until about 2015 when Robinhood really started to get popular that I started to invest my own money. I didn't like that it cost me $50 to get into a position at Edward Jones. That was expensive. I didn't trade a whole lot of stocks. I then switched and put some money in a brokerage account with USAA, who I do all my banking and insurance and stuff through. And again, it was still kind of expensive. I think it was like charging me like $8 a trade. And I was like, well, I don't have a whole lot of money. $8 per trade is kind of a lot of money. I want something that was cheaper. Well, come on in Robinhood, and I ended up using Robinhood for quite some time. In fact, I still have some money in Robinhood. Don't love the platform as much anymore because I think there are some better ones out there that, again, it handicapped me in a time frame. The thing is if you are watching this video, you want to learn how to trade quicker. You want to beat the learning curve. You don't want to take years to get good. And the problem with Robinhood was it didn't give me the ability to chart on the charting software the way a platform like TD Ameritrade does, or a platform like E-Trade does. I like those charting softwares, and I think those are important. Now, granted, I use TradeZero. TradeZero is my broker that I use for the majority of my trades, but I have to use TD Ameritrade for my charting software. So basically, Robinhood is what got me going, and I started to still long-term invest and actually do some more swing trading starting in about 2015, 2016, 2017, and then obviously 2018 and now 19. So I started using Robinhood. So that went on for a while. As I started doing that more, obviously I got more interested, watched more YouTube videos, started learning from different people, just watching those free YouTube videos, and then started to get better. Well, I got into swing trading, have been fairly profitable with that for a few years. And then a friend of mine introduced me to my friend Rhett. So Rhett was obviously very good at shorting. And so he opened up my eyes to this whole other world where you could make 20% in a day, 30% in a day by shorting some of these penny stocks that had ran up a whole bunch and then come crashing down. And so basically this past year, basically through all of 2018, I met Rhett in 2018, learned a little bit from him in the spring before I went out to sell. We stayed in contact, stayed friends and everything. And then this fall, basically fall of 2018, I ended up learning his strategy. I learned how he shorted. I learned what he looked for, just in kind of watching him do his thing. That's what friends do. He helped me out, let me see what he was doing. And he had always been really, really profitable. I mean, he took an account, he took $10,000 in cash and $20,000 in credit card debt. And in about a 6-month time frame, he turned that into about over 900,000, like 950 some $1,000. Just insane. It was very, very insane. And my goals have never been that high or that crazy, right? Especially in this market, it's very difficult for shorting because it's a very grindy, very uncertain market. But Rhett was able to do that, and I was able to kind of copy that strategy. In January, literally in January, so I had been shorting a little bit here and there in the fall of 2018, really just following his mentorship and kind of learning from him. And then I decided to open up an account in TradeZero. So I opened up a TradeZero account starting in January, took all those skills, took all that knowledge, and started out with about a $15,000 account shorting, turned that $15,000 account into about $28,000. Ended up dropping back down, and I ended up having a pretty substantial loss. Dropped me down below the PDT rule. And so I was kind of stuck again, trying to show people, hey, you can still get up over $25,000 in day trade and get past the PDT rule. But after you get above it, it's very demoralizing to have to rebuild up again, because I was over $10,000 away from PDT. Then again, a week and a half later, I got hit in BPTH, had a $12,000 loss, and that really ended up wiping out the account for the most part. So I ended up refunding the account, brought it all the way up to $27,000, and that was back at the beginning of February, mid-February. I think it was like February 8th, 9th, 10th-ish, somewhere in there. Basically when BPTH had that massive parabolic spike, I refunded the account. And ever since then, I've went from about a $26,000 account value to I'm in the $60,000 range right now. It's all about consistent gains, daily gains. I mean, the thing is you're not always gonna have winners. I've even in this past month, I had an almost $9,000 loss. Actually, I had a $9,000 loss on AVIO, BPTH, and MBOT. I think were my 3 biggest losses. Rhett's loss on my account was on ZSAN. That was another one that just parabolically went crazy. But that is really how I kind of got going in trading. Now, the question that I'm going to get asked a lot is, well, where did you get the money? Where did you get the money in order to learn how to trade? And that came from summer sales. So I started selling, doing summer sales back in 2014. I think summer of 2014. It would have been the summer of 2015 actually. So summer of 2015, I went out, I met my friend Charlie. He had actually ended up making in 4.5 months about $106,000 doing door-to-door sales. And so I was amazed, I was blown away that you can make that kind of money, especially without a college degree or a college education. In such a short amount of time. I thought like that's like what drug dealers do. Like you don't make that kind of money in sales, right? I just did not know that those kinds of numbers existed. So I went out, I made roughly about $68,000 that first summer, and have continued to work my way up and make more money doing that on a consistent basis. Now, at this point, I did have losses, as I was day trading, or I shouldn't say day trading, as I was learning to swing trade and perfecting my strategies using Robinhood, I lost a lot of money. There was a lot of times where I would lose money and the strategy wouldn't work out. I had to learn through trial and error and it cost me tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, I've had losses, but that is where I think I've gotten to be such a good trader and such a good investor. Is I've had the ability to have cash on the side that could fund those learning experiences, where a lot of people that are getting started trading don't have that ability. And that's why I think it's so important to find a job that will cover your lessons, your life lessons to learn to do these things. And so summer sales has worked out really great. It's been great because I brought on a lot of other people. I brought on people from Florida, California. I brought in people from Washington, where I'm from, Idaho, Utah, you name it. We all have come together. I currently work in Louisiana. I have another office that my brother runs in Washington as well. But what's great is if you ever are interested in doing something like this and you need the money, you don't have the ability to trade, I can always hook you up. I can always help you out with getting a job. Again, this is mainly a summer type thing. So obviously we're filming in the summer. It wouldn't be until the following year. But this job is what changed my life. This is what changed me from going from, oh, I'm going to just simply, go to school, get my bachelor's degree in science. I was going to be a human biology major. In fact, I have 2 semesters left that I just decided I'm not going to do because I don't want to go into medicine. I didn't want to take the MCAT. I didn't want to do all that stuff. Love the idea of being an ophthalmologist, but this was more profitable, more lucrative, more fun, and just what really drove and struck me deep inside. So that's what got me going, and I can't say how cool it has been to see how my life has changed based on the decision to start knocking doors. And it's not to say knocking doors is easy. It definitely does take several weeks to get going. There's rejection, there's hardship, it's hot, there's lots of things. People are mean sometimes, but the reality is you make so much money, it's worth it to deal with those people. And then you can actually fund your passions, like your desire to open up a trading account. If you want to start out with being over the PDT rule, which is very nice, I've never, besides my showing people that you can make it over PDT if you're underneath it. That was the only time I've ever had an account under $25,000. I've never had to worry about the PDT rule with day trading, and that all comes from door-to-door sales. So that is really, everything I just want to say. Like I said, this job is so amazing. Being able to go from a door-to-door salesman to a full-time day trader. Next year, I will most likely be even off the doors a little bit less. Just because I'm at the point where trading is a lot more lucrative. I mean, yesterday alone I made, just day trading alone, I made $5,000. And so that is, it's not possible to make that in one day selling home security systems. But, the stock market, the bigger, the larger account value and the larger size that you go into these positions, the greater your reward can be. Now again, greater your losses can be as well, but I'm very confident in the strategies and the things that I have learned. It's been very lucrative. I have an 88% win percentage right now, and that is since I started day trading and shorting companies. And it's just very interesting. It's very neat. I have spent a lot of time to get to this point. So if you have any questions, if you have questions about door-to-door sales, if you have questions about ADT, if you have questions about how to get started day trading, if you have questions about how much money to start out with, I always say you have to at least start out with $2,500 because that is the requirement that you need to get a TradeZero account. So I only recommend using TradeZero if you're going to follow my strategies, because you need to be able to short companies. They have the best short or borrow list, that I have seen. And again, it's free if you're longing a company. You have zero commissions or anything like that. So if you do have a smaller account size, they save you on that. You do pay for locate fees for shorting companies, but if you long a company, there's zero commissions or anything like that. So those are some really great things. Again, I would love to hear some of your stories about how you were able to be an entrepreneur, maybe how you were able to make money as well. Let's make this a great community. If you have not hit the like button already, please hit that like button. It helps me out tremendously with the YouTube algorithms. Commenting on the video also helps tremendously as well. So if you wouldn't mind, if you found this content helpful, useful, if you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, give me a comment, and we'll just keep growing this awesome channel that we got here. So thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.